Tonight, we're diving into 3 chilling tales from the open road. Stories that will make you think twice before driving alone at night. Our final story is a particularly haunting one, about a mysterious figure in a yellow raincoat. So, buckle up, turn down the lights, and let's begin. Our first story comes from a truck driver named Mark, who spent decades crisscrossing the country. He'd seen it all, or so he thought. One foggy night, somewhere on a desolate stretch of I-80 in Wyoming, his CB radio crackled to life. It wasn't the usual trucker chatter. It was a faint, pleading voice. A woman's voice, asking for help. She said her car had broken down, and she was cold. Mark, being a good Samaritan, asked for her location. She gave him a mile marker just a few miles ahead. As he got closer, the fog thickened, visibility dropping to almost zero. A slowed down his headlights, cutting weakly through the soupy air. Right at the mile marker she mentioned, he saw a Dar, old-fashioned sedan, pulled over on the shoulder, its lights off. But there was no one there. He called out on the radio, "Ma'am, I'm here. Where are you?" Silence. Then, the pleading voice returned. But this time, it sounded different, distorted. It was coming from right behind him, in his own cab. He swore he felt a cold breath on his neck. Mark slammed on the gas, not daring to look in his rearview mirror. He drove for 10 miles before he felt safe enough to pull over at a lit truck stop. His hands were shaking so badly he could barely hold his coffee. He told the other drivers what happened. An old-timer nodded grimly and said, "You met the lady of I-80. They say she's been out here for 50 years, looking for a ride she'll never get." Mark never drove that stretch of I-80 at night again. Next, we journey to a winding mountain road in the Appalachians. This story was shared by a college student, Sarah, who was driving home for winter break. A sudden blizzard hit, turning the familiar road into a treacherous white nightmare. She was creeping along, barely able to see the road's edge, when her headlights caught a figure standing in the middle of the road. It was a man, tall and gaunt, wearing old-fashioned, tattered clothing, completely out of place for the freezing weather. He wasn't waving for help. He was just standing there, staring at her car as it approached. Sarah's heart pounded. There was no way to swerve around him on the narrow, icy pass. She honked her horn, but he didn't move. He just tilted his head, a slow, unnatural movement. As her car got closer, mere feet away, he smiled. It was a wide, unnerving smile that seemed to stretch his face too far. At the very last second, just as she braced for impact, he vanished. Not stepped aside, just gone. Shaken, Sarah continued to the next town, her mind racing. When she stopped for gas, she told the attendant about the strange man. The old man's face went pale. He told her that decades ago, a salesman's car went off that same road in a blizzard. They never found his body. Locals say on stormy nights, he appears on the road, not looking for help, but just watching, waiting. Perhaps for company in the cold. Our final, and perhaps most disturbing story, takes place on a rain-slicked highway in the Pacific Northwest. It comes from a couple, David and Lisa, who were on a road trip celebrating their anniversary. A relentless downpour had been going on for hours, and they were the only car on the road for miles. That's when they saw her, a small figure on the side of the road, illuminated by their headlights. It was a woman, completely drenched, wearing a bright yellow raincoat with the hood pulled up, obscuring her face. Her head was bowed, as if she were staring at the ground. Concerned, David slowed the car down. "Should we stop?" Lisa asked, her voice filled with worry. She could be in trouble. As they got closer, a strange feeling of dread washed over David. Something was wrong. The woman wasn't moving. She wasn't trying to flag them down. She was just standing there, unnaturally still, in the pouring rain. As they rolled past, David glanced in his side mirror. The figure was still there. But then, she slowly lifted her head. In the split-second flash of his taillights reflecting in the mirror, he saw her face, or rather, the lack of one. Where her eyes, nose, and mouth should have been, there was only smooth, blank skin, like a mannequin. A scream caught in David's throat. He floored the accelerator, the car fishtailing on the wet pavement. Lisa, confused, asked what was wrong. He couldn't speak. He just pointed at the mirror. Lisa looked back. The figure in the yellow raincoat was now in the middle of the road, directly behind them, and it was getting closer, moving at an impossible speed without seeming to run. They didn't dare look back again. They drove straight to the nearest police station, babbling their terrifying story. The officer on duty listened patiently before sighing. He told them they weren't the first to report it. For years, drivers on that highway had reported seeing the woman in the yellow raincoat on stormy nights. No one knows who or what she is. Some say she's a ghost, others a premonition of a terrible accident. But everyone who sees her agrees on one thing: you don't stop. You never, ever stop. These stories serve as a chilling reminder that sometimes the most terrifying things aren't just in movies or books. They're out there, on the lonely stretches of highway we travel every day, waiting in the fog, the snow, or the rain. So, next time you're driving late at night and you see a lone figure on the side of the road, maybe just keep on driving. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and don't forget to follow for more tailies from the dark.